Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mystery Theory. Today, we're going to talk about an unsolved mystery that it started as a house fire and a 911 call, and it ended up bringing all kinds of theories about a family that lived in Kitsap County, Washington. If you're new around here, first of all, welcome. And so happy that you're here. And I would love if you enjoy the content for you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. If you don't know what to say, but you want to support the channel, just say hello, leave an emoji, share where you're watching from, and by doing so, you're helping me and the channel, and it's absolutely free. Now, for those of you who have been following for a long or short period of time, I want to say I see you. I am so thankful that you are here, and if you know the sounds of a blue yeti, you're probably wondering what is happening. I'm gonna leave a pinned comment down below and you'll see the Frankenstein MacGyver thing I did. So the sound might be a little, a little bit different, but I hope you still enjoy. Also, don't forget to comment before you fall asleep. I have a very big goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers, and the more you comment, the more people are being exposed to this video, and likely they'll subscribe if they're looking for this kind of content. Now, I have my notes. I, as always, have bullet points on what I need to share. So, it's down here, my notes. So, that's what I'm looking at if I'm looking down. The Careaga family was a blended family. The husband, John, was 43, and the wife, Christelle, was 37 at the time. Each of them had a kid from a previous relationship. Their names were Jonathan Higgins and Hunter Schaff. They were both 16 years old, and the couple got married in the year 2009. And by the time that our case takes place, these boys have been raised as brothers, and they are as close as blood brothers. On January 27th, 2017, it was a typical January evening. It was a Friday. It was in the 40s. It was kind of raining for a while, and then it would stop. So, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you probably understand the weather. For them, it was typical weather. So, they did what they usually would do on Fridays, and is staying home and spending time together as they were watching TV, eating snacks, scrolling their phones. The couple lived, or the family lived, in Kitsap County, Washington, as I mentioned, and they lived specifically on West Tenino Drive. They had a ranch style home. Now, at around 9 p.m., Hunter called 911. He tells dispatch that his entire family had been shot, and including himself, and he begged for them to hurry up because they were dying. The dispatcher asks Hunter who did this, but Hunter says something that you can't understand, and then you hear a voice, and it gives you the impression that this male voice was somebody entering the room where Hunter was. Hunter was desperate, asking for help, and the dispatcher, I can only imagine the need to keep him calm, but the feeling that somebody was about to hurt Hunter. When police arrives a few minutes later, the house is on fire, and when they go inside, they find 3 bodies. The one that was missing was John's, and his truck was also missing. One of the really heartbreaking things to add to this case is that initially it was reported by the news that Hunter survived. Sadly, he didn't, and it was just hope for the hopeless. As police went through the house, They found different bullet casings, but the one they found the most was a 9 millimeter. By Monday, John John's body, I should say, was found. It was inside his burning truck. Now, apparently, this was a remote logging road that would lead to a tree farm. Because it was used only by the farm, this area wasn't frequented and it had a big gate that was locked. However, this, I should mention, this tree farm was or is in North Mason County, and the person that found the truck was hiking in the area. So it looks like they drove, or whoever was driving John's truck drove past the gate, and later on the truck caught on fire. I am not sure if it was intentional or as a consequence of that going through the gate situation. Months went by, and at this point, police started to get desperate. They were trying to get the public's help to resolve this case. So they shared with the public what they had. One of the CCTV footage evidence they had showed John going to the grocery store at 9 p.m. that night. He seemed to be acting normal, but we will come back to this footage. Later on, they released footage of a man 12 days before the murders in a local Target. They shared this footage in the hopes to get help identifying who this person was. They didn't give many details, but it was clearly something they were holding back that they were seeing in this footage that the public wasn't. They also release in that same footage a car driving by the front doors of Target, and this was a light color 4-door sedan. On June 8th, police releases some extra information hoping to get more tips. This was a very much planned murder or murders, and that there was more than one killer. Time keep passing by, and whatever the police knew that we didn't gave them hope, but it was so sensitive that they wouldn't share it with the public. By September of 2017, they name a person of interest. His name is Danny J. Kelly Jr. He was 38 years old and from Bremerton. Now, this is interesting because before they release this information, his mother, Danny's mother, was reported an incident with her son. She went to the police and said she was assaulted by him. She mentions that apparently they were not talking, and all of a sudden he called his mom and asked her to go visit to kind of clear the air and have a better relationship. Instead, he went home and accused her of wearing a wire. Now, almost a year later, on January 11th of the year 2018, more information is shared with the public, like the 911 call in more detail because they had shared just a snippet in the beginning. They also matched the person in the footage with the suspect, Danny J. Kelly Jr. Then they also say that they notice in that video that he is wearing a motorcycle club clothing and indicated that he was part of the Bandidos motorcycle club. So of course, police was begging the public, specifically somebody from this motorcycle club. At that time, they also released the connection between that car and another um, with the other footage of John at the supermarket at 9 p.m. the night of the murders, which indicates that the same vehicle was a target when this individual was there, and that same vehicle was at the grocery store that night. This car parked by John's car, and they likely had an interaction from car to car, and that they left at the same time. Now, if you're wondering why being part of this motorcycle club is so important, it's because this particular motorcycle club called Bandidos, it's known for many different trafficking of drugs, including meth. They are active in the state of Washington, and there's record of 32 members being arrested in the year 2005 because of those mentioned trafficking charges, among others. In the summer of 2018, Crime Stoppers put up a billboard with Hunter's face. He was wearing his football uniform in the sidelines, and you can clearly see his still a kid face with his last words in the same billboard begging for help. The idea was to show that this needed to be resolved and that Hunter was missed. It did help because some motorcycle members started sending letters and tips to the police. However, it would lead them to this same guy and a lot more information, but nothing specific enough to charge him. Later on in the year 2018, Joseph Careaga, which was John's older son, who was only, can't remember, I think he was 20 or 21, died in a horrible car accident. His girlfriend was driving. She was speeding at 120 miles per hour, and they crashed into a vehicle that was trying to turn left. It seems like tragedy continues to happen to this family despite not being around. Police continue to ask for help, begged for help from this motorcycle club members, but deep inside, I think they knew that even if they didn't get to Danny, if they didn't have enough physical evidence to get to him, the attention that the police was bringing and kind of shining the light over this motorcycle club was not good for anybody, really. So it is believed that even Danny being free, he was probably hiding under a rock because he had a lot of powerful and influential people in the motorcycle club who wanted all this attention to stop. That is all we know. But let me tell you what the theories are and what other people think that happened to this family. Now, Christelle and John had a couple of businesses. They had Christelle's Java Hut and Juanito Taco Shop. People believed and started spreading around that they were laundering money for a cartel. A lot of people believed that their marijuana business was getting in the way of the big guys. They found 33 plants in John's and Christel's basement, which I don't know. I don't know anything about this kind of business, but 33 plants sounds like a specific small number. So, according to the records, they were growing them to sell them to dispensaries or to use for medical purposes, or I don't even know if back then, I assume that was for recreational purposes too. Police also found $60,000 in their safe under the bed. I think they found 50, and then they had other smaller, I think it was a bank depository envelope with 7,000. I myself, I think that's a lot of money for carrying, or you know, but I don't know. Maybe their business were really prolific and they were doing great. So I can't really tell you much about that, but they did find the money. So if this was a drug problem, why didn't they take the money? Well, some people believe that they didn't because it was more of getting rid of the problem than anything else. And that John probably didn't owe money, he just got away. In my personal opinion, these people that did committed this murder are professionals. They knew why they were doing it. This was not an impulse. Police never revealed what Danny bought at Target, but it's something they might have something on him, but nothing solid enough for an arrest warrant. I really don't see any other explanation but a professional hitman that worked for somebody with money and influence and power, and it could have been the banditos, or maybe this guy was part of the club but hired by somebody else. The only weird thing is that the police did investigate these people and couldn't find anything that supported any of those theories. So, what do you think happened? This is a recent case. We have DNA, forensic evidence is treated in a different way. This was a murder scene and treated like one from the beginning. Please share your thoughts down below. I'd love to know what you think happened here. Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.